another episode of Maunalua Past, Present, and Future. My name is Kendrick Chang, a youth advisor for Livable Hawaii Kai Hui, and I'll be serving as this episode's host. And also, I'm kind of wearing both hats today, as I'm also a member of the Hawaii Kai Lions Club. And joining me today is Eric Kvick, the treasurer of the Hawaii Kai Lions Club and chair of the Rescue Tube project for our club. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Eric, how did you become a lion? And for our viewers, can you share a little bit about yourself?
I became a lion in the midst of a chiropractor adjustment, and my chiropractor was Dr. Bill Modulin, and he said, "You should be a lion." And he just in the conversation, we're talking about how to get into different community service, and Lions is a good avenue for that.
Okay, and then for those who may not be familiar of the Lions, can you explain a little bit more about what we do in the community, particularly with our club in Hawaii Kai?
Okay, well, starting from the macro, the Lions Club International is over 2.5 million members, I believe, worldwide. In Hawaii, there's a couple thousand members in Hawaii, and I represent, or I'm the treasurer of Hawaii Kai Lions Club, and we have 57 members in East Oahu.
Yes, and also we do have a couple photos of a couple notable projects we do in Hawaii Kai, particularly the Hawaii Kai Lions annual Father's Day pancake breakfast and the holiday parade. We can get those photos up. But I mean, with our club, what do you think makes our club special among the different Lions Club or just community groups in general?
Well, the pancake breakfast is definitely, it's the longest running fundraiser in Hawaii, I think. It's 44 years and keeps growing year after year. This year we served 3,700 meals, I believe. So that's our main fundraiser, and I think that's how we're known. That and the parade, the Christmas parade, and now our Rescue Tube project is kind of taking off a little bit.
Yeah, now moving, now we're going to transfer to the Rescue Tube project as you're the chair of the Rescue Tube project, and we have a prop right here, Joe Banana, as you call it.
Yeah.
But for this project, what is this Rescue Tube project?
Rescue tubes are, by definition, they're a personal flotation device to be used by a swimmer, able swimmer, to help a swimmer in distress until lifeguards arrive. So they're not like a toy. It's very serious business, rescue tubes. They're just a temporary measure to keep somebody safe until lifeguards get there. They're already active in Kauai. The Rotary clubs actually got it started in Kauai maybe 2008, and gradually over time there's 240 of them around the island of Kauai at assorted beaches. And it's a very gradual thing to get to that phase. They add about 10 or 20 a year, so we're trying to get it going in Oahu a little quicker than Kauai.
Yeah, so I mean, you brought this initiative to the Hawaii Kai Lions Club on Oahu. How did you personally find out about this?
Oh, just research. I mean, I moved here about 20 years ago, and often I'd take the scenic route by Sandy Beach, and I asked myself, what would I do if I saw a fisherman fall in the water? Because you can't really jump in after him, or you're going to be a double drowning victim. So it's always been something I kind of thought about, and several years ago I saw that Rotary had tried putting them into Kauai, Kailua Beach, and that only lasted a very short period of time, and then they were gone. And I just kind of followed up to see what happened and why they are not on Oahu. And I think the main reason they're not prevalent on Oahu is just we're so much bigger. There's a lot more legal agencies and government agencies and considerations and many different factors to make it slow to come to Oahu.
Now, you brought up, our government entities, and actually when you first started the project, you were thinking of finding a way to partner with our respective, city and state agencies responsible for ocean safety. Can you share a little more about, that initial, call?
Well, we tried to go that route, and there was maybe a year, I wouldn't say wasted, but we introduced it to a lot of different agencies, and they spread the word a little bit. They're all aware of them, but we found that not being a lobbyist and not being part of that system, and not having time to learn to be part of that system, we changed our approach last year, and we just decided to give them away to the public citizens, private citizens, just to get them out there, to increase awareness, get people talking about them, learn how to use them, and hopefully gradually it'll come to pressure to all the different agencies to make it happen.
Now, as far as giveaway, this can be anyone in the community that can take. It's not necessarily, someone, who may be professionally ocean safety trained, but you do have kind of a training program or protocol before you distribute a rescue tube.
Well, April 29th we had our 100 tube giveaway, which coincided with 100 years of Lions, so it was kind of appropriate that the Lions Club International has been around for 100 years, and we gave away 100 tubes at Maunalua Bay, April 29th. And that you were referring who the tubes got. I mean, there was paramedics got it, firemen got it, just families got it with children, kayakers, canoers, fishermen, fisher people. So a variety of people took them, all who are being in the ocean or around the ocean as part of their life. So, more people know about them now than did, and there is 100 tubes on Oahu now.
All right, 100 tubes. Okay, and then we do have some photos up. We can get them on the screen of the process. As before the giveaway event, you were first, asking, schools and libraries to post, a rescue tube in the respective, location, and then eventually, we had, a public relations, initiative with, we were able to get onto Hawaii News Now. So maybe if you can share more about the process as far as just, there's the publicity, but also even just the fundraising part, as we're distributing the rescue tubes, free to those, who wants one.
Well, fundraising is naturally the most difficult part of it. I mean, rescue tubes, the purchase of 100 of them with the shipping and everything else ended up costing about $8,000. If we could get a bigger order, that price would go down. And we purchased them through the Rescue Tube Foundation. And the Rescue Tube Foundation is the main wheel of all this. I should have mentioned them earlier. They're in Hawaii, and they're a 501c3, so they purchase the rescue tubes, and we buy them from the Rescue Tube Foundation. So this effort is coordinated through the Rescue Tube Foundation. Hawaii Kai Lion is a partner with the Rescue Tube Foundation, so we're kind of taking the initiative to Oahu.
All right, no, that's very good background. And then as far as the Rescue Tube Foundation, what were you able to learn as far as their success on Kauai that you're hoping to, bring to Oahu?
Well, actually, what we learned from their success on Kauai is that it took so long that in Kauai's bureaucracy is less complicated than Oahu's. So that's what taught us that we need to really approach private individuals.
Okay, and then even just on we can talk a little bit about the fundraising side, as we also have a GoFundMe page, which is more for individuals who are able to chip in. Maybe as these actually, what was the exact cost for each rescue tube again?
Each one was $80 with shipping, and like this has got assorted hardware to mount it on a stand, but $80 is pretty much a good number.
Right. So these things are not cheap, and besides raising from individual supporters, but we also got some help from some businesses in our community.
But phase 2 of the project
Right.
is starting now. So the first 100 is done, and we're reaching out to other clubs and organizations, and they don't have to be Lions clubs or anything, anybody who's interested. The second phase, we're hoping to get 1,000 rescue tubes on Oahu.
1,000 on Oahu.
And so it'd be a bigger order. That's about a half a container. And that would be a giant step towards, you know, actually saving some lives. The way I look at it personally, without doing a expensive research study, there's 227 miles of coastline on Oahu. And to me, having 4,000 rescue tubes would have one rescue tubes every 100 yards on average. So who knows where they would be, whether they're in the trunks of somebody's car or in somebody's kayak or who knows what. But 4,000 would be a good number to have on Oahu, and lives are going to be saved. I mean,
Okay.
you know, and if you want, I have statistics on how many people drowned in Oahu, and it's kind of a startling number.
And now, as far as, I mean, the demographic, are you hoping to pretty much serve everyone, or are you just trying to focus on primary residents or, you know, tourists, or, you know, what's the...
Well, beach, the best person to have one would be somebody who's at the beach all the time, and somebody who's a strong swimmer. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, every police car should have one in it. Every fire truck should have 10 of them in it. Police helicopters should have 20 of them in it. They could throw them in the water, you know, if there's an emergency, just to have the throw in the water. But also, one Lion mentioned that maybe rent-a-cars could have them in the back of the trunk of the rent-a-car.
Right.
And that way, if somebody has an emergency situation, they know it's in there when they rented the car. So, I mean, there's no right person or wrong person to have one, but it is very important that the person who does have one knows what it is, how to use it, and is smart enough not to create a dangerous situation by using it improperly.
Now, as you know, rescue tubes, you know, it's a life-saving device, but, you know, there are other, you know, life-saving devices out there. So I wanted to personally ask you, you know, how did you come to rescue tubes? As, you know, easily this could have been a project instead of rescue tubes. It could have been CPR, AED devices, or you know, life vests. So I was just curious on why rescue tubes.
Well, the rescue tubes is probably going to evolve into other things. I mean, there's just an example. I know a lot of the deaths in Oahu are snorkelers at Hanauma Bay, and unfortunately, they're just snorkeling, and a snorkeler can have a problem, and they look the same in the water. So the lifeguard doesn't notice it, or you know, there's no way. You know, a rescue tube might not necessarily help in that situation. And there's other devices that they have there. It's almost like an airbag in a car that you could have on your belt, and if you have a problem, you can inflate this thing. It's a self-inflating thing, and then it would draw attention to yourself. That technology is constantly changing. There's new versions of the rescue tube now that are smaller, sturdier, and you know, it's an evolving thing. The nice part of this is that it's not heavy, doesn't cost that much proportionate to what it can do, and it's the best that's out there right now. But this could change over time.
Right. And then, as far as, you know, are other Lions clubs, I mean, you know, involved in the second phase, or, you know, as far as just, you know, the first phase of the 100 was primarily focused on the Maunalua area. So, I mean, how do you plan on, you know, really expanding that if the vision is to kind of cover the entire island of Oahu?
Well, we've kind of advertised on a Lions Club website and a newsletter they have that we are asking all clubs to get involved if they want to. The more the merrier. We'll come and give a presentation to any club or organization that we have a PowerPoint that takes about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes in total.
Right.
And then to encourage other groups to get involved in it.
And then right now on our screen, you know, we do have a website for those in the public that want to learn more about this, hawaiikailions.org. And then on the tab, we have a Rescue 2 project tab. And it provides several, YouTube video links, and then, the PowerPoint presentation you mentioned. And also, if you want to learn more as far as possibly donating or to request for a rescue tube, that's the site to go to. Once you give away the rescue tubes to members of the community and the public, is there a follow-up process to check if are they actually using it or actually positioning it in places of need?
Well, I have all the email addresses of everybody who has a rescue tube. So occasionally, it hasn't been that long yet that they've had them.
Right.
But I'm going to send out just keep everybody in a network if they're interested. And if a tube gets used, we'd love to hear about it, because that's like a notch in your belt, one life saved. So if this whole thing goes down and one life gets saved, it's well worth the effort.
Right, one life saved at a time.
Right.
Now, with this, second phase, with 1,000, how do you expect from 1,000? Do you think it could eventually, transpire more to maybe 2,000 or above? I mean, I was curious how you kind of created this step 2 phase from 100 to 1,000 plan.
Well, from 100 to 1,000, 100 wasn't too bad. 1,000, if we can get 10 clubs as interested in it as our club is, then 1,000 is no more work than 100 was, because we have 10 times the people working on it. So I don't picture the transition being that great. I'm putting together letters to approach different foundations and stuff that have a little bit deeper pockets that might take an interest in this. $80 a piece sounds like a lot of money, but to put things in perspective, I like to play with numbers, and when you add up the rail system, that our 100 tube giveaway costs less than 1 inch of rail. So the entire 4,000 would be about 2 feet of rail. So if they stopped it just short of Middle Street by 2 feet, that'd be a lot of money. So the money's out there. It's just a matter of finding it, and finding, foundations or individuals who are interested in getting involved.
And then also, I did want to at least recognize and mention in the first phase, the 100 tubes. As this is a show primarily for the Maunalua, Hawaii Kai area. We did had some great community partners, that support us in the first phase, particularly the Ōlelo Club. I mean, how was this for us working with other organizations in our area? The
main supporter, the first one before we ordered the tubes, was Hawaiian Cement. So big thanks go out to Hawaiian Cement to be the first one to dive in and help us out financially. And East Oahu Realty helped us out. Berkshire Hathaway Realty helped us out. And Ōlelo, who you mentioned, Canoe Club, helped us out.
And then you also went to the Hawaii Kai Neighborhood Board to present. Right,
we did our PowerPoint presentation there, and a couple other board meetings we've done.
And now, just turning back as the Hawaii Kai Lions Club, we're really a small, in a way, grassroots organization. I mean, what do you think makes, our club, special as far as in serving the needs of the Maunalua community?
Probably the variety of members. I mean, the members are all different backgrounds and different experiences and different areas of expertise. So, like, I'm a painting contractor and carpenter, so I tend to get involved in projects that are building something. We just built what's called a maker space for Cocoa Head Elementary School library, and it'll be a robotics and Lego stand where maybe 20 kids can work around this and store all their projects in it. A lot of the members of the club get involved with eye testing for kids in all the schools, and that's usually during the day, so that's more the retired members of the club are doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is for, kindergartners and preschoolers, and actually this is a, Lions project, but, with our club in particular, we serve the 3 elementary schools in Hawaii Kai, Haheone, Cocoa Head, and Kamiluiki Elementary.
Correct.
And then also we do other, environmental projects, even in the ocean with Maunalua Otherwise, you could, name any more significant, the things we do in the community.
The main thing is we volunteer with other agencies too. So if anybody needs help with anything, we're always get some Lions to help out with anything.
Yeah, and then actually, we've been around in our club was first started in 1973. So actually, we're currently in our 44th year, about to enter our 45th year soon. And we even have some members who actually was part of that first group that started the club in 1973.
73, right?
Right.
Yeah. They're called charter members.
Yeah.
And we still have 7 or 8 of them still members of the club. So that's a lot of years of service.
Right.
I give them credit.
Yeah, and then with that, for those who, put besides the Rescue 2 project, but just wants to become, who can become a member of the Hawaii Kai Lions Club?
Well, they can contact me or go to our website to learn more about the club. We have a membership chair who'll be happy to share all the information. Pretty soon we'll have a new membership meeting coming up. Hasn't been scheduled yet, but every year at the start of our fiscal year we have a new membership meeting. This year we have 3 new members coming in and 4 potential members.
So I think what's really great about our club is just the diversity, as we have different generations. I'm the youngest member, but we have those, who were there when they, first started the club in 1973. But in a way, I mean, even though we're about a 60-member strong club, I mean, we all, get along. I mean, we all, have a good time with each other, and that's, sometimes, it's really difficult to have that in any organization.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the interaction is what makes it all work, because the younger members like yourself are kind of bringing the club into the new age and Facebook and all the other things that you do. Kendrick is our bulletin editor this year, and he's very helpful. I'll pat you on the back for all you're doing. You're bringing us into the new century of communication, and between our smug mug sites and we couldn't do it without younger people like you. So the appeal for membership doesn't have to just be retired people. It can be people like yourself who have a little bit of time and can communicate. Right. You can be a Lion via email. You don't have to physically be at the meetings.
Right. And we do also have quite a bit of working professionals too in our club that have since even taken active roles in the club and our officer board too.
Correct.
So it is really a club that can fit everyone, and really there's not even attendance policy or a strict minimum hours requirement. It's really what you can give, the club will work with based on your availability.
And it's an opportunity to put it in perspective for what I found interesting about the Lions Club is if you're an individual and you have an idea and you want to do something, it's very awkward to just go and do it. You have no backing. And you're a member of the Lions Club, you have the backing of the Lions Club, and it gives you some insurance, and it also gives you some legitimacy. So you can start a project, bring it up with the Lions, and you can really, any little idea you have, a community service idea, you can put it into fruition. And it's wonderful.
And even, for those who really want to get involved, we even have district level projects and even, state level. And as actually the Lions organization was first started 100 years ago in 1917. Right, by Melvin Jones. And then, this is our centennial year. I think just the different opportunities, even just not necessarily our own club, but even just different clubs around the island and, state. There's a lot of, connection just being a Lion.
Well, it's unlimited opportunities, unlimited projects that can be started. That last year, a lot of people might have noticed, or 2 years ago, like the I forget the name of it, Kendrick, the big annual meeting was in Honolulu.
Oh,
So
the Lions Convention.
The convention. And the convention was just unbelievable, huge parade with people from Brazil and all over the world were here. And it gives you an idea of the size and depth of the Lions.
Right. Now, we do have a couple minutes, and then just to make sure we did get, we did mention it once, but also, twice, is how can the public get involved in wanting to learn more about the Rescue Tube project?
The Rescue Tube project, go to our website, look at the different links. The link to the Rescue Tube Foundation would be one way to help financially if you want a tax-deductible donation. They are a 501c3.
And would that be earmarked towards the Hawaii Kai Lions?
You could ask that, but I have no control of the Rescue Tube Foundation funding. Some of their donations go to just operational expenses, but you can ask that. If you directly want to buy rescue tubes for Oahu, you could donate to Hawaii Kai Lions. Any funding we get goes directly for, earmarked for that, goes to buying rescue tubes.
Yeah, and finally, if you're an avid ocean user and someone that is trained or has the experience in, rescuing other people, I mean, if they want to get a hold of a rescue tube, they'll just contact you again, right?
They could contact me personally. We aren't able to give any more free ones away now. We've given away what we have, so we're in the funding process now. But we can contact, they can contact the Rescue Tube Foundation and buy one. I'll be getting some more soon, so we'll be getting some more. But the funding's the main thing right now. We need to find some pretty big pockets to be able to get into the second phase.
Well, Eric, I mean, it was great having you on the episode. And again, HawaiiKaiLions.org if you want to learn for more information.
Correct.
Yes, and then thank you again for joining us on another episode of Maunalua Past, Present, and Future. My name is Kendrick Chang. We would like to thank Livable Hawaii Kai Hui for being the organization hosting the show, and also Ōlelo Studios at Kaimuki High School. This is Kendrick Chang signing off. Mahalo.